All right. Thank you for joining me for Don't Sugarcoat the Holidays. Today, we're just going to be talking about little tips and tricks of how to help manage your diabetes, or if you know someone that has diabetes, helping them survive the holiday season and all the goodies that come with it. So, our first trick today is timing of meals. A lot of the times, holiday meals, dinners, parties are kind of scheduled at irregular hours or times of the day. A lot of commonly 3 or 4 p.m. So you really want to be able to plan in advance for how you'll handle making these changes. Most times, people aren't eating at 3 or 4 p.m. every day. So you'll want to kind of know your schedule ahead of time. That way you can take your insulin or take a snack before these major meals. So if you take insulin injections or a pill that lowers your blood sugar, you may want to have a snack with your at your regular meal time. That way you don't have a low blood sugar reaction. Also, you don't want to skip meals. I know there are tons of food options waiting for you at these meals, but you don't want to skip. Even if you just have a tiny little snack, have something to hold you over until those larger meal times. That way you can keep all of your levels and your blood sugar at a good level for you. And if you are starving yourself, you're going to be more likely to overeat when you do get to these meals. All right, number 2, we have being physically active. So, of course, the holidays and the meals are kind of all surrounding the main event is the food. So, you want to be able to go on a walk when you have time, or have active holiday events where, maybe playing football in the backyard with your family, or, playing golf, doing something active, and including the family and friends that you're going to be surrounded with. And then maybe, if you want to if you guys like to dance, dancing or doing some kind of group activity. That way you're not feeling like you have to be alone. You don't have to go on a walk by yourself after a meal. You can kind of incorporate the whole family. So you do want to try to keep up with your regular activity, even if it is, kind of minimized. You still want to be able to do something. You could start a new tradition that includes maybe, a walk or a football game in the backyard with your family while you're waiting on the food, or after, during maybe the big NFL game of the Thursday night football or Thanksgiving football game. Maybe during halftime, going on a little walk, just trying to do something to keep active. All right, the next one we have is plan, plan, plan. So we kind of touched on this a little bit with the timing of meals, but you do want to kind of know everything that's going on, whether that be, the time, the kind of food that's going to be available for you. So you may have to wait a little time, a little bit of time before the food's actually ready. I know my family usually doesn't get served till after an hour till it starts. So kind of being prepared to know, okay, you might not be able to eat immediately. You might, be able to eat immediately. So kind of knowing what's going to happen, and checking with the host to see when food will be served and what kind of options there are for you. You don't have to limit yourself to only eating vegetables and healthy options. You are allowed to have indulge in some treats, but you do have to plan and kind of go in with a game plan of, okay, this is what I'm going to have, this is what's available, and see if there's any healthy appetizers to munch on until you wait for the bigger meal. So if if you know in advance that the options may not be that great for you, such as like deep fried or high calorie foods, then you might want to consider bringing a small snack for yourself or offering to bring a healthy appetizer or dish. So just trying to anticipate the kind of food that you'll encounter. So, for example, if you know Aunt Susie always brings her famous pie and Megan brings her famous mac and cheese, you kind of have to know what is going to be available for you. That way you can know what you should do or what you should bring. It'll make your life a lot easier. So you also don't have to deny yourself food once you get there if you know in ahead of time that, oh, I really want this pumpkin pie, but that means I guess probably I should not eat all these sweets or high carb snacks before. I should probably not dip my hand into the potato chips the whole night before the actual meal. All right. The next one is be selective. So, of course, this is a special occasion. You don't get holiday food year round. It's mostly 1, 2, maybe 3 months. So these foods typically tend to be high in carbohydrates and calories. So, for example, traditional holiday fare includes mashed potatoes, sweet potatoes, stuffing, dinner rolls, cranberry sauce, pumpkin pie, and other desserts. So remember, you don't have to sample everything that is offered. You can have just, the special items that are going to be there during the holidays. You probably don't need to have mashed potatoes or a dinner roll every time. You can get those year round. But if your aunt is making famous sweet potato casserole or pumpkin pie, you might want to save up your calorie intake for those options. But it is okay if you slip up. Just try to get right back into healthy eating and your healthy habits. Um, you know, these items are going to be, of course, very tempting, and you're going to want to eat everything that's on the table. But trying to stay consistent as possible, and realizing that it is okay to, have these options, but trying to get yourself right back into that healthy habit as soon as you can. And then alcohol is okay with foods, of course, but you do want to limit the amount of alcohol you consume. And if you do have alcohol, you want to have it with food. Um, most of know it can lower blood sugar and interact with diabetes medicines as well. So just being careful and cautious with that. All right. Next up, we have smaller portions. So, we have being mindful. Again, a lot of carbohydrate-based foods, and you can taste a few. You don't have to have everything that's on there, but if you do want to be able to taste everything on there, there's this Toby's 2 tablespoon rule, which involves, having a little bit of everything, but only 2 tablespoons samples of everything that's offered. That way you can kind of still have those tastes and foods that you want, but you're not going to overindulge and have absurd portion sizes. So, but you do want to keep in mind that even small portions can add up. So just remember to kind of watch and maintain your blood glucose in the normal ranges. And you want to keep your total carbohydrate intake similar to a regular day. You don't want to overdo your carbohydrates, but you are able to enjoy everything without having to fully cut out all of the foods that you like. So I would suggest getting a plate and going. A lot of people will kind of hover around the food table or pick a table that's close to the buffet line. Just go ahead and get your portions, get your plate, and then go sit away from the table. I know I'm guilty of that too. it'll be easier to kind of watch what you're eating and not overindulge. And the last one is don't forget your vegetables. So during the holidays, the vegetable selection kind of tends to be limited. However, just a few simple vegetable dishes can add beautiful colors to the table. So you could offer to bring a side or even a larger serving of an actual dish of vegetables, a salad, something that is healthy for you. You can eat. That'll be very easy for you to have some kind of option for you to have. If you choose to bring a vegetable dish, opt for non-starchy vegetables like cauliflower, broccoli, or spinach, which are low in carbohydrates and calories. And this will kind of help you fill you up and make it easier to reduce portions of other high calorie and high carbohydrate foods. So I would also suggest eating your vegetables first. May not be the most exciting thing, but it will help fill up your belly. That way you're not going to want to be so hungry for the other foods. So those are my tips and tricks for the holidays. I know a lot of people are probably pretty familiar with most of these. Hopefully you did learn a little bit of, some opportunities and options for this upcoming holiday season. So thank you for joining me, and I hope you all have a happy holiday season.